to not be first.
Do we do enough? Well, I never shut up about it.
It must have been about 16, 17. We nicked their gilt rings. Right, the bouncer's gilt ring.
This is no good for me. That's the reality. If you want the honest truth, and I see it every day.
This is Joe Pugh for IFL TV. We're here at the Bermondsey Boxing Club, joined by Hall of Fame promoter, Mr. Frank Warren. How are you, sir?
I'm fine, Joe. How are you, mate?
I'm very well, thank you. We're under 2 weeks away now from Daniel Dubois attempting greatness against Alexander Usyk. You just see him work out there. He looked pretty powerful on those pads and body bag, didn't he?
Look, he is powerful and he is strong and he's got a tremendous amount of belief that he can win this fight. But when he gets in the ring on Saturday, it's not going to be body bags. There's going to be somebody throwing shots back, and then we're going to see where he goes. But I genuinely believe he has the tools to win those 3 belts.
Yeah, you've been confident on and off camera since the fight was announced, before the fight was announced, when he got that mandatory position. But he's been out in Spain with Don Charles. Do you think this is the right preparation going into the biggest fight of his career?
He looks really well. We know what he's good at doing. And all this fight's going to be down to, at the end of the day, is his temperament. He's going into the lion's den, and I think he can handle this, and I'm sure he will handle it and come away successfully.
Do you think with Daniel, it's for him, it's stepping up to that level, proving that he is what you already believe he is?
We'll soon find out. I mean, you know, everybody's got their opinions and they're entitled to them. And my opinion is that he will perform at that level and show everybody that show everybody what he's about. It's his chance.
We're not just here for Daniel today, we're here for Hamza as well. Good to get him on the card and back out after a relatively long layoff, Frank.
Yeah, he's been out. He had Ramadan in between as well and an injury, but he's out now. And as you say, it's on a card and it's a high-profile card, so it's good for him. And he's fighting a Ukrainian, so he also is going into the lion's den.
He certainly is. And with Hamza going into next year, maybe even the back end of this year, is it the big Denzel Bentley fight you're looking at, or potentially going down a different route?
These two are going to have, they're on a collision course, there's no doubt about that. But they're both after winning world titles as well. So we'll see what happens. But whatever does happen, these two, the pair of them will have a fight. And when they do, it'll be 2 superb fighters at their peak, going in up against each other, which would be great for the fans. And they're 2 lovely fellas, and it'd be a shame to have to be a winner, but it's going to be a great fight.
Yesterday we saw the press conference for Dan Aziz versus Joshua Buatsi. Is the winner of that in line to fight Anthony Yarde? Is that a fight you would like to make?
I tried to make the Buatsi fight on a few occasions with Anthony. Anthony at the moment, he's fighting in September. He's been out of the ring for a while. He'll be back in action, and then we're looking to get him into a position to challenge for a world title again.
Why do you think that fight couldn't come to fruition with Joshua Buatsi when, after all that, he's gone to fight another domestic opponent in Dan Aziz?
I think at the time Matchroom didn't fancy it, and then when he was leaving Matchroom, they tried to do it, but by then he'd made his mind up to leave.
Moving on to Anthony Joshua this weekend, he fought Robert Helenius. What did you make of that performance?
I thought it was a pretty boring fight. You know, a good knockout at the end. He did what he's supposed to do, which is knock out a guy who, when he steps up, normally gets knocked over. Gets beaten, so he done what he had to do. You know, his opponent in short notice, but up until the knockout, it was pretty boring.
Obviously, the Deontay Wilder fight has been spoken about for Saudi. If you was within Camp AJ, would that performance on Saturday night fill you with confidence going into the Wilder fight?
I've got to be honest, I would fancy Wilder fight. I don't think the fight will get made. Keep hearing about it. We'll see if Skills Challenge decide they want to persevere with it. If they do, then maybe it will, and you'll find out. But in the meantime, they've got to keep him going, because it won't happen until next March, from what I'm hearing. So if it does happen, and you know, at the end of the day, I mean, these are the guys who are not at the top level anymore. They're underneath. They're underneath Tyson Fury, and they're underneath Usyk, and hopefully after Saturday, Daniel.
Why do you think this Saudi deals are being delayed and delayed? Because we originally heard December with...
The truth of it was, we accepted, Tyson accepted the fight to fight Usyk out there back in December, but Usyk wasn't ready. They were going to do it in February and they couldn't do it because the venue wasn't ready. And then they said they couldn't do nothing until December this year. Then they said December will have to be next year. So you'll have to ask them the question. You know, Prince Khalid's he's a nice guy, but it's not happening. Tyson wasn't prepared to sit and wait around.
I want to ask you about your podcast you done with Simon Jordan the other day. It attracted a lot of attention. Eddie Hearn said to me that it was a loving between the two of you, and yeah, that was his exact word, the loving.
Let me ask you a question. Did it look like a loving to you?
Well,
I'll tell you it was a loving. You the other night, and you at that thing they did at the Snorefest. What's it called? Indigo. God, Jesus, what was that? God, who sponsored that? Horlicks. What a bore.
Okay, we'll move on from that, Frank. But I did say to Eddie, would you sit down with Frank Warren and Simon Jordan? Because from your tweet, he said he wanted to.
I got a text saying he didn't want to.
I said to him off the back of your tweet from the Simon Jordan.
Insist.
He said when it's organised, he'd like to have a proper sit down. He said, "Why not?"
So you get it the moment, don't you? It was all like the only reason I was interested because I was going to respond to some of the porky pies he was telling. So that was the moment to do it, but it didn't happen.
And what are those porky pies?
Well, talking about the Usyk situation and Tyson, it's just a lie. It's not the truth, and he's just telling lies.
Last one. We've had purse bids postponed for David Adelaide versus Fabio Wardley. Do you think a deal can be made there?
100%.
Yeah. How confident are you that fight lands on a Queensberry card on TNT Sports?
I think it will. It'll definitely happen.
Frank, thank you very much for speaking to IFL TV, and speak to you again soon, mate.
Very good.
Thank you.
You to not be first.
Do we do enough? Well, I never shut up about it.
It must have been about 17. We nicked their guilt rings. Right, the bouncer's guilt ring.
This is no good for me. That's the reality. If you want the honest truth, and I see it every day,